Hello, my name is Zhatelier and welcome back to another episode of Valhalla Vanguard in Aurora 4X. And in between the episodes I decided to go ahead and basically redo the second generation of the ship designs. At least for the civilian ships. Still missing the engines for 18, but we'll get them soon enough, I believe. And yeah, basically what I did is switch the armor engines, and then for a lot of the ships that will be moving a lot, I added the passive sensors that will still let them be designed as classed as commercial vessels. But basically, pretty much all the ships that can produce other ships, the same ships can still produce. So, I mean, we will need to update the shipyards a little bit. It's not going to be the end of the world, and the fishermen and the whalers can be built from the old shipyards still, so I don't need to worry about that one. Speaking of which, we should probably set up the shipyards to work on the new ones now. Okay, the fisherman is still adding an extra slipway, so I can't do that, but I should definitely build... Well, I mean, we don't need to worry about that, actually. But yeah, we'll start building another fisherman. Our task there. And yeah, it's going to take quite a bit of time, except we do have the mining modules, asteroid mining modules already, so it's actually not going to take all that long. Right, so we got that one. Then I suppose we could switch at least this one to... We've been using the rowing boat, so we'll just retool for the rowing boat too, I suppose. It's gonna take a little while, but that's fine. And then whalers we don't need to worry about because we can build the new ones from that. And the colony ship will switch to the Knar 2 colony ship. Okay, it's gonna take a little while to be built, but that's fine. We're running a bit low on neutronium, which does worry me. But now that we got the miner, actually, let's see, where should we put it? I know that we got a few asteroids that are potential good places for it. I mean, okay, Thrud 19 has a lot of resources, but it's a bit off the way. It's basically the other direction compared to Alta and Valhalla, where we will mostly be doing most of our mining. So the asteroid over here would have a lot of uranium, carbamide, and corundium, which honestly is not the worst place. But at the same time, I'm sure if we need to have it there. Whereas in Alta, there's a few asteroids here. There's one over here, it has 6 resources, decent or good accessibility because it is an asteroid, and about 100,000 minerals in total. And there's this one that has a lot more types of minerals, but the amount is a lot less in total. And there's this one which actually has 8 different minerals. Has 250,000, yeah, I think the asteroid 94 in Alta is where we will get the fisherman. The target, I'm just going to give you another option of tractor fisherman. Then you're going to go to Nostrand, go to Alta, and it was 94. Move to release tractor ships. Then go back to Nostrand and Humir, and go back to Valhalla. So the target has its work cut out for it. Eventually, once we get the colony ships, at least we can use the obsolete colony ships now as the jump point tenders. We got 3, that's going to be just the number that we need. Right, and we can actually go for automated turns now, I think. Seems to be working fine. The bad thing is that we got 4 of our explorers over here right now. Oh, speaking of which... Actually, no, we didn't... did we finalize the new design for the explorers? Let me have a quick look. I was kind of maybe waiting for the new sensors. I mean, the old one is more expensive technically, but it cannot build these quite from the same shipyard, which is a bit of a shame. Basically, I decided to take off one of each sensor. I'm hoping to get at least the geological sensors to be upgraded. I mean, if it does the gravitational surveys a bit slower, that's fine. We have increased the... or put in another engineering space there, and a bit more fuel, so it has a somewhat longer range. It's still not huge, but it should be able to go for a little bit longer. And then, yeah, the armor made a bit thinner and all that. Or take less space, rather. But once we get the better sensor, which we might get at some point, but then we'll switch out the sensors over there, which is gonna increase the price to make these a bit, but at the same time it will be somewhat as efficient in surveying as the old one, but with higher speed and range and less likely to break down. If we have a look at the annual failure rate, is 66% on the Longboat 2, and Longboat 3 is going to have it about 50%. So it is a decent difference there. So, no, we're not going to do the... or worry about the shipyard quite yet. Or is not possible. Explorer 4. Explorer 4, I believe, was in Valhalla still. Been there for a while. Oh right, yeah, it was there, but it didn't start the overhaul yet, I don't think. Right, so we'll start that. I don't remember if we're still getting more research soon. We might be... Oh, geosurvey completed. Let's actually quickly pause. But it looks like we... Oh, just 2 survey teams finished their surveying. Nothing was found, unfortunately. But... okay, we can relocate them. So it was A5 and Moon 3 of A5. So nothing found there. We'll disband the team there and disband the team here. Yeah, so nothing found on either one of these. We'll just abandon them then. Yes, I'm sure. And this one, just making double check. Yeah, it doesn't have anything. So abandon that. Is this? That hasn't been surveyed yet. These 2 have been surveyed, meaning that there are some minerals in here. Again, not huge accessibilities, but they are there. So that one I might as well explore or survey. Unsigned only. Just using the military officers so that they don't get kicked out right now, because we will need more officers soon. And I'd rather not lose everything. Right, in the meanwhile, okay, so I think that's the last one in Humir that we're gonna do. Let's do a quick check. So yes, those have been completed. Njord has been completed. B3, are we doing... we are doing a survey over there. What about B4? It has been completed actually. Then A3 has been completed, A1 has been completed. We could do technically surveys on the asteroids if we wanted to, but I think it might be a little bit of a waste really. I'm gonna send a team here unless we already have one. No, we do not. Right, so just select 5 of these. Create a team. Not a huge rating, but it doesn't matter really all that much. Wait, are we actually losing money? It might be. I mean, we're doing a lot of work on the shipyards right now, but we got plenty of wealth. So I don't think we're gonna run out anytime soon. Right, so we started doing that. Now then, we can keep on going. Right, so Tak is taking the second whaler to Nasrant now, surely for 2 of the longbows and a third of the longbow. Okay, well, I suppose we do have 5 of the longbows here, so that only makes sense. Okay, we got the engine power 525 ion drive, which is going to be the size 25, I believe. Which means that Atheon is about to get engines. No, we started on that. We completed the 210 ion drive, which is... Oh, right, so this is the size then 10 engine that doesn't have the boost, and this is the engine that does have the boost. So if we wanted to, we could use these ones as well. Now, to be fair, we are going for 10,000 size for this one. Also, we're gonna need a lot more of those. Okay, so let's have a quick look. So if it's gonna be 10,000, it's gonna be 200 class size, I believe. So with this amount of engines, it would be over 3,000 kilometers per second at this speed. Okay, so we put in a 4th engine. It would be about 20% of the ship engines then. Might be doable. It would be like 4,200 kilometers or something like that per second, which is a decent one. We could make it even higher if we wanted to, but the thing is, the point defense and the missile defense ships are not meant to necessarily be speeding too much towards the enemy. No, they will be trying to keep a bit of a distance at least, if they can, but at the same time having enough speed is going to be useful. We're going to do that. Then we're going to do a new design, just in case. So this is going to be the missile destroyer. Right, and rename this to Spike. And let's see, Atheon, how long? I had 12 months deployment time for use. I'm going to put the same for this one, just in case. These are basically part of patrol fleet that will be able to go a bit longer distances and will be able to take on some individual ships maybe. Now this one's going to have a jump drive. Except we don't have the jump drive design that we need to use, so never mind then. We are designing the better tech for it, so I suppose that's fine. Now the thing is, we could use either the smaller engines that we just got, or we could wait for the hull size 25 engines and have like 2 of those on each of these ships, which would mean that we'll be using a bit less fuel with the same amount of hull space for the engines and the same engine power, which might not be a terrible idea. Do we have the... Right, so this is going to have anti-missile fire control and the missile fire control. Then doesn't need to be having... We don't have the launchers research, do we? No, not until we get the... Okay, so we're starting a little bit on this design as well, but we're not going to go too far on this right now. Let's have a quick look at the research that we'll be getting. Okay, so we're gonna get the Gauss weapon design, or launch velocity, rather soon. Then we'll be doing the launchers real quick, and then we'll get the Gauss cannon, and then we'll have to do the Gauss cannon quad turret for the point defense purposes. But that shouldn't take too long, and then we're gonna get another. Right, so we're gonna get the Messin Focus and Technology in October. Okay, so that engine's gonna be done in February. Then we're gonna get the missile engines. There's maybe a bit more of the engine types that we're gonna be using, but I figure that giving a bit more options might not be a bad idea. And then there's the jump drive efficiency after that. It's gonna be rather expensive. But after that we'll redesign the jump drives a little bit, and then that is going to let us do a bit of a overhaul of the jump drive ships. Or at least the military ships will get the better, and actually we're going to upgrade the jump drive on the longbow as well. So there's going to be longbow 3B or something like that, I'm not quite sure yet. But anyway, it's going to take a while before we get any decent research. Or more research done. I mean, well, less than a month actually. So far, let me actually. I'm gonna let the research hit first, and then we're gonna have a look at how many factories have we gotten into Njord and team skill upgrade. Okay. Oh well, that's gonna pause the game anyway, or the auto turns anyway. Okay, so Njord. We've got 6 factories there, still producing the infrastructure, and not very quickly, mind you, but we've got at least a little bit buffer here still, but sooner or later we're going to have to stop bringing the colonists here right now, because we don't have the infrastructure being brought in a good enough rate. Although, if we were to assign another one of the freighters to the... I'm not sure if it's actually going to work. Actually, it should, because they only bring in the infrastructure and colonists here. So yeah, if we assigned another freighter to the freighter 1, it would make sure that there's a bit more infrastructure available. Assuming that we still got quite a few. Okay, so whereabouts is the freighter right now? Freighter 1 is heading for Alta. Target's moving. Okay, so if we focus on that, yeah, so that is where we're coming from. How much do we have fuel on the whaler fleets right now? Just out of curiosity. Okay, the one in Nasran is still increasing in fuel capacity a little bit. I mean, there's not that many fleets that are refueling from it anyway. And then there's going to be another whaler there soon. And then this one is still running a bit low. 7.1 million. How much do we have in Valhalla? Fuel, only 12 million. Okay, we are running a bit low on fuel. That is going to be a problem, so maybe... At this point, running or having the colony ships run back and forth is not necessarily a good idea. So what we could do, I mean... The freighter 1 should be okay. I mean, we do have the oiler technically available for that purpose until we have enough available. Oh wait, right, so we are getting the troop transporter soon, are we not? Well, in September next year. Never mind then. But yeah, we are running a bit low on fuel. So maybe... I don't want to get the colony ship away from Freighter 1, because that is bringing in colonists to Alta. Now, what I could do first is we could get at least one of these freighters detach that. Then task groups. And go to... Oh, but you can't get to Nastrand. Because there's no one giving... Okay, that's gonna be a problem. Well, I suppose one thing that I could do is detach the oiler as well from the GPR task group. Detach that. We're gonna rename that to Oiler 1. I'm gonna move you to the Nastrand jump point. Just move to. Then the freighter. We'll do a standard transit. And you're going to join. So that's gonna let us bring in more infrastructure at least. At the same time, I think the... Is it the Freighter 3 that is taking stuff to Valhalla? It is. Where are we currently? We are in Valhalla actually. Heading to Nastrand. Look at Valhalla then. Well, you're almost through that. Yeah, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna detach the colony ship. I'm just gonna move to Nastrand transport. You're gonna stand at transit and then you're gonna stay on there. Just so that you're a bit closer to home. And then that's gonna be using a bit less fuel as well. So we'll have at least from Valhalla to Humir, we'll have a stable way to go without having jump engines. We'll see if that works. We'll jump a little bit forward. Okay, it said that it failed. Let's go for another hour. There we go, that worked. Let's have a look in Humir. Is the oiler is heading for the point, but it's not there yet. So this way we can at least save some of the fuel, because the colony ship there technically doesn't need to be moving around, and the oiler currently doesn't have enough fuel on any of the whaler fleets to actually warrant the... Okay, we got the ghost cannon velocity, so we're going to design the ghost cannon. And I could have gone with the launch velocity one, but since it doesn't increase the price of the thing, or the weapon, nor the development cost, might as well get the better one. I'm gonna go for hull size 1, and yeah, we're gonna create that. It's rather cheap to make, or research. Right, and that's gonna be over here, I believe, yep. Queue up that one. Okay, yeah, it's queued up there. Once we're done with that, we'll do the what's it called? The turret. I was blanking out there quite heavily. Okay, another shore has been completed. Oh, we didn't put on the auto-search right now, but oh well. We got the missile launcher size 3. Oh, we started that. We got the anti-missile launcher with a 10-second speed. Okay, so we should probably put in at least a couple of those for Spike. They are not taking a huge amount of space, so we're going to put in at least 2. Later on we might add in more, but at least 2 seems reasonable. And we'll put in one of the missile or size 3 missile launchers at least, and then 1 size 6. Maybe 2 size 3 and 1 size 6, and then a few smaller ones here, and we'll see what we can get in here. Also, we do need to set up armor rating of 4 or something like that for the ship. And we might as well add in the engines while we're at it. We're going to go with these engines for now. The 4, and Athean also has 4, right? Yeah. We might switch them to the bigger ones, but we'll go with these for now. Right, but unfortunately we are out of time for this episode, so if you enjoyed this, please like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. Also, check out the links down below in the description, but other than that, thank you very much for watching, and until next time, bye bye.